Howdy folks, today we're going to be making a low-carb version of a Christmas favorite, eggnog. This recipe, or at least the request for a low-carb equivalent, was suggested by one of my friends on Facebook, and I thought I'd make this video as my video Christmas present to everyone in the low-carb community. By the way, also be sure to check out Kent Altana's holiday low-carb recipes. You can find him at youtube.com/Bowulf, Bowulf. He's got a bunch of them. Here are the things that we're going to use to season the eggnog. We have 4 representatives from the Legion of Spicy Heroes here. We've got cinnamon, nutmeg, vanilla extract, and this is Splenda. And Splenda comes in several different forms. The granulated kind, which is what this is the one that you most commonly find in supermarkets. There's also a liquid kind, but as the only place I've been able to get that is off the internet, and I wanted to make this recipe with things that you can buy at a local supermarket without having to order off the internet. So here we go. The first thing we're going to do is get our mixing bowl, and we're going to add the 2 basic ingredients. Now, one of the ingredients we're going to use is this. It's heavy whipping cream. And so what I'm going to do is show you how to make an individual serving of eggnog, say a cup worth that you could pour in a mug and drink yourself, because a lot of the time there's only one person in a family who is doing low carb, and so if you make a recipe, an eggnog recipe that has 6 to 10 servings in it, then it can be kind of unwieldy. So I'm going to show you how to make a 1-cup serving, and then if you want to make more, just multiply the amounts of the ingredients. So first thing to do is I'm going to add 1/3 of a cup of the heavy whipping cream. Okay, that's all there is to that. Now I'm going to add eggs, and there's kind of a controversy with eggs and eggnog because eggs can have a very slight risk. It's like 1 in 10,000 of salmonella or some other foodborne illness if they're not cooked. So there are different ways you can obtain eggs for eggnog, and you could just use them without any special preparation, and you run a little bit of risk, but if you want to reduce or eliminate the risk, there are some things you can do. One thing I've heard suggested is boil the eggs for like 10 seconds because the virus or the disease agent is something really on the shell, and so you could cook the shell and kill the virus without, or the bacterium I should say, without cooking the inside of the eggs, which are supposed to be basically sterile. Another solution I've seen is you can cook the eggs over low heat, stirring constantly until they're able to coat the spoon. So you pick up the spoon and the eggs are just beginning to cling to the spoon in a more than liquid way. And so that's, at that point, they're still usable for the eggnog. They're not fully cooked, but they also have been heated. We're going to do something a little different. We're going to use this. And I'll move my mixing bowl to show it to you. These are whole eggs that are pasteurized. They come in a carton from the supermarket. You get them in the egg section, and they're not egg beaters. They are real eggs, real whole eggs, but they are pasteurized. And just to be extra safe, this is a container that I just got at the store yesterday. So it's not like it's been sitting around. It hasn't been open for a week or anything like that. So should be extra safe. And what I'm going to do is add 2/3 of a cup of the egg mixture. So right now we have a cup worth of ingredients here, which is the basis of our serving, and to that we're going to add some additional ingredients just for flavor that will dissolve in this cup. We're going to add a tablespoon of the Splenda, which is of course a sugar substitute. And we're going to add, get the nutmeg, we're going to add 1/8 of a teaspoon of nutmeg, and we're also going to add 1/8 of a teaspoon of vanilla. And I've just poured a little too much there, but that'll be okay. It'll just be a little extra vanilla-y, this batch. So now that we've got our basic ingredients together, except for cinnamon, which we're going to use as a garnish, you know what we're going to do. We're going to get a whisk, and in the words of the rock group Devo, we're going to whip it. Whip it good. Here we go. Okay, so I have now whipped the eggs, and you just want to get them to the point that they're frothy, which you can see I've done here. And then what you do is you get your Mystery Science Theater 3000 mug, and you pour the low-carb eggnog into it. And then you garnish it with a little bit of cinnamon or some more nutmeg or whatever you prefer. If you have a low-carb candy cane, you could stick that in it. In any event, or mint would be nice too, mint leaves. In any event, it's now ready to be served, and it's delicious. If you do it right, you won't be able to tell the difference in taste between this and other eggnogs. Now, the texture may be a little different depending on how much you've whipped it. If you want to really whip it extra good, you could use an egg beater, but I just like using a hand whisk because the egg beater is more trouble, especially cleaning, and I have more control with a whisk than with an egg beater because of their minimum speed tends to be insanely fast. So if you want, you could do that. You could also, as some recipes call for, whisk the whites separately from the yolks, because it's really the whites that acquire additional texture by whipping. If you do that, though, you're either going to need to use regular eggs, or you're going to need to use just pasteurized egg whites, which you can also get that come in a container. And then you're going to have to find some yolks for yourself, or perhaps just put a little turmeric in as yellow food coloring to imitate the yolks. In any event, this is a great holiday treat, and so wanted to show it to y'all, and Merry Christmas.